And instead of going to Brazil, I finished up in Blackpool Hospital. And what I'd done, I'd got a bit more than a hernia. It was like a ruptured groin. Today they can repair it. In those days, it wasn't easy. And I had to ring up Alf and say to him, you know, I'm not going to make it. He said, do you want to leave it a few days and see if you can go? I said, okay, I'll leave it. Left it 2 or 3 days. I got out of bed, but that was about it. You know, I said, no, there's no way I'm going to make it. And that's when I missed out.
So you can't go to the little World Cup in 1964?
No, I spent all summer recovering here. And I found out in the end, after I come out of the treatment and so on, I used to run on the beach. I used to wade into the sea, wade against the waves, you know, to try and strengthen my leg up. And I got back playing again, probably, I don't know when it was, probably September, October, I don't know. But when I came back, I was all right. I think George Coyne might have come in the team then, I can't remember. I think George, he did all right, so, you know, and I was sort of recovering. Anyway, it got through to the beginning of 66. I hadn't played in the England team for over a year now. I saw Alf once, somewhere to match, he never did anything. But then I saw him, I played it somewhere in the Midlands. After the game, he came to see me. And he said to me, how are you? So I said, good. He says, are you fit for the World Cup? So I said, okay. I must have been the first player ever to be told he was going to be selected. That's absolutely true story. He said, I'd like you to be fit for the World Cup. So I said, oh, that's great.
But you knew, obviously, because of Bobby Moore, that you were never going to be captain again.
Well, the first game I came back, I played against Yugoslavia at Wembley. I was captain. Well, you know when you play well. I played well. They were a good team, Yugoslavia, you know, the Serbs, the Croats, all them, you know, they're all lunched together in those days. And they had some good players. We beat them 2-0. And then we went on the pre-tour to the World Cup. Anyway, we played in Finland. I was playing well, winning 3-0. And right at the end of the match, a guy comes and he stood on my foot. I sort of carried on a bit and I thought, crack, it's sore this. Anyway, they gave me an x-ray and my little toe had a crack down it. It wasn't too bad. But Al said, well, you're not playing in the next warm-ups, you know. You've got to be fit for the World Cup start. I never played again. He kept the defence for the next game. And they were the best part of the team, really, when they started. And he never changed the back four.
Did you find that very hard to deal with?
No.
No?
Not hard, not really hard, no. Of course we wanted to play. Of course you wanted to play, but you've got, it's something you have no control over anyway. I had no control over it. The back four were doing okay. I could see that. Players are not blind. And the thing is, you know, they were doing all right, and I presume he thinks, well, this is the group. I wouldn't have picked the team Alf Ramsey would have picked. But that doesn't mean to say, you know, what matters is what the end product is.
But you'd been captain against Yugoslavia.
And against
come back
Finland.
into the team.
And against Finland.
You played really well. You were captain against Finland. You must be thinking at that stage, hang on a second, I'm playing well and I'm captain. I could be captain of England in the World Cup in England in a couple of months' time here.
Well, I was too busy concentrating on what I was doing at the time. I was one of these players, when I played, I was...
But my point being, once you'd got the injury and you didn't get back in the team...
No, I hope to play, of course I
think
did.
most people listening to me would be unbelievably frustrated and insanely jealous.
Well, no, I wasn't. I wasn't. Say jealous would be wrong. If I'd have felt the other players were inferior or something like that, I'd say, yeah. You see, like a lot of other clubs, we'd never won anything at Blackpool. We've been close. Like we runners up to Manchester United, in the old First Division. So we hadn't quite had as much as some other players. We didn't. I think the other thing is too, it depends on your attitude as a player. It could have been, it could have been much worse. But I did what I thought I could do. If you don't pick me, that's it. I think too many get into all kinds of rhapsodies about this, and you're either in or you don't. Football is not a game that travels like that. Football travels like that.
Ups and downs, peaks and troughs. Yeah.
Yeah. If you draw graphs, it's very rare you get what I call an equilibrium that's nice and straightforward. There's always something. I've been unlucky once or twice, really, with injuries. And
that's as unlucky as it gets, Jimmy, to miss captaining your country in your home World Cup. I think
that's right,
most people would think that's as unlucky as it gets.
Well, you know, I had been there. I had done it, and I had got there. And then, but people said to me, I always remember Mike Ingham saying to me, he said, the one thing I've always wanted to ask you, he said, at the end of the World Cup in '66, when it was all over, you were smiling on the field with Bobby. He said, you must have been saying, you know, I said, no, isn't it better that we won? Isn't it better that we won? It is better we won, because today people look back and they say, well, you remember the World Cup squad. It's not the same as being in the 11 who played in the final. But the point was, it's better that they won. It is now more than ever, isn't it?
Well, Jimmy, frankly, that's the measure of you as a man.
There's Bobby Moore of England, Cohen, Ball, Banks, Wilson, Hurst, Charlton, Bobby Charlton, Peters, Stiles and Jackie Charlton bringing up the rear. And West Germany captained by Uwe Seeler, who 12 years ago made his debut on this very ground for West Germany when he was just 18. And at that time, West Germany were the world champions, having won the World Cup in 1954. They were fourth in 1958. England never before have got past the quarter-final stage.
I can picture in a very smart red V-neck on the bench on that sunny day in the cup final.
Yeah, that's right. It was
you and Norman Hunter, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Norman. Yeah, he was superstitious. Brought up with Don Revie. You had to wear this and you had to do this and he must go out at 3 o'clock and he goes number 3 in the lineup, you know, that sort of thing. We had none of that. Anyway, we won the first game and I went in this red jumper and I was going with Norman. He says, where's your red jumper? So I said, get your red jumper on. And that's how it started.
And what are your memories of the final?
Alan Ball, because he was a Blackpool player. In that game, I thought he was the engine. He was forthright in everything. The only thing is, I was watching him playing and I thought, we're never going to keep him at Blackpool. Soon after he went to Everton. Yeah. That was the first memory I had. And the other one was, we didn't sit on the bench through the game. We were in the stand. I was like the leader of the other pack. I was in the end seat, so they put me in the end seat. Al said to me, whatever happens, you get the lads up and they can come down to the bench. And when I'm all down there at the end, come what may. We were sat there, you know, till 90.
So it's 2-1 to England.
We were winning 2-1. So this guy said, yeah, so I said, come on, lads, and we all got up and walked down. And I was the first one out under the royal box, and they're all following me. We went out, and as I got in, Germany equalised. So I don't believe this lot behind me saw that goal, but there we go.
Every Englishman coming back, every German going forward. Now, will the Germans snatch a dramatic equaliser and bring us to extra time? It's Emmerich coming in. And he's... Oh, yes, it must do! They have done! Weber has scored in the last seconds.
They equalised. That was the one abiding memory I had. I thought, oh my goodness. So I went and I saw Alf and he went, oh, sit here. And I sat right next to him, I'm right behind him. You can imagine how Alf felt. So we just sat there, you know.
We are now in injury time. And there goes the whistle for the end of 90 minutes, so you can see how near England were to the World Championship. But now they have another 30 minutes.
I was down at ground level. We were ice trained to live at ground level, really. And I couldn't quite believe the Germans in the latter part of the game. If you ever look at the last goal, you get this lovely pass from Bobby.
For 4-2, yep.
Yeah, he knocked it over the top. First of all, that really was a terrific ball, that really. In that circumstance, 3-2, we're holding on, death, you know. Ball goes over the top and Jeff runs after it. And they've got a player at left full back. And if you ever watch it, he runs back like that. His job was to come across and
he just runs straight towards his own goal rather than try and cut him off. Yeah.
Alan Ball ran in there, and Alan Ball was looking, you know, he was still running Bally. And this guy probably was thinking, well, I'll keep my eye on Alan Ball. His first job is to stop that. And of course, Jeff finished it.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people around the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's four.
It was strange, really. We sat there and all the players who were not playing were all thrilled. That moment, I know they were. Say whatever they like, they want to play, but they were all thrilled, I think.
The reserves are on. There's George Easton. There's Jimmy Armfield. There's John Kennelly. This great moment in English sporting history as Bobby Moore goes up to get the World Cup. Alf Ramsey walking forward to shake his hand. There is Alf Ramsey, the first sign of emotion from this man who has organised this victory.
It was a bit trying, not getting a game, you know, when you don't play. It is trying. Of course it is. But that's part of it.
It shows a sign of the times. You've told me this before. That night, you have a big dinner in the Royal Kensington Hotel.
Royal Garden.
Royal Garden Hotel in Kensington. But Anne and the other wives, they're not with you, are they? They're a couple of floors down in a separate room.
They put the women in another room. And to make it even, the women of today, they were given a present. And they were all given a pair of scissors. When we had the get-together this year of, you know, the 50 years, last year, for 50 years of World Cup, somebody says, "Do you remember that?" I said, "I've been reminded about it for the last 50 years."
On a daily basis.
Everybody in Wembley collapsed laughing when I said it, but the point was... But they did that, but then eventually they sort of allowed them to come and talk to us. But it was quite odd, really. It was quite odd when you think about it. Today it wouldn't just happen.
That's 1966. We could leave it at that. Where did you go afterwards? You went. I hope you went deep into the night in the West End or somewhere.
Well, funnily enough, we had nothing planned to go anywhere. Bobby Moore said, "I've invited to the Playboy Club." So they put my arm up my back, and but there was Bobby and his wife, Anne, and myself, and they were pouring champagne over and whatnot, you know. But I would have preferred sort of everybody to stay together. Because the next day, we were all on our way home. We all went for the television programme. But we all went there and we had lunch. After the lunch was over, Alf got all the players together in a room, no bigger than this, 22 of us, with the staff in this room. We're all sort of cramped together. And he said, "We've never talked about money." And we all knew that there was £22,000 to be divided between us. And I said, well, we sort of agreed really what was going to happen, but I didn't like jumping in because I hadn't played. And Bob said, whatever we do, share and share alike. So it's everybody gets £1,000. Come whether you played, whether you didn't. Is that okay? He said, yeah. I'll say, that's fair enough. And he said, okay, I'll see you all soon. And that was it, finish. And that was the only time money was mentioned from the start to the finish.
You got taxed on it?
£764 or something like that.
Not that you were counting.
I wouldn't even buy me a second-hand car. But it was...
You did it for the glory, Jim.
Well, they did, really. It was... I felt it was crucial with it being in England. I did. It's turned out it was crucial.
You can't have thought that day, could you?
No.
You cannot have thought that England would not reach another final, let alone win. The Euros weren't as big then as they are now. They were still going, obviously. But you cannot have thought this will be the last time England will be in a final.
On our programme, over the last 50 years, I must have said, every time we've gone to the World Cup, you know, when I've gone with Radio 2 and then 5 Live, whatever it's been, I've always felt we had a chance when we set off. I've never been right yet.
Talk about the next phase of your life. Retirement and management. Retirement you played against your great friend Bobby Charlton for your last game. Yeah. Your last game for Blackpool. 1971.
I'd had a bit of knee trouble. Knee was a bit sore. I could have played. Blackburn Rovers wanted me to carry on playing, and I thought, no, time is right. It's come to better players than me. And then I was offered the job at Bolton. And
they were in the old third division.
Yes, they were. They'd just been relegated.
You went straight into that?
Yeah.
Literally finished 70, 71, and you were straight to...
Straight to Bolton.
You know, when you're a player, they always say that you're a player, you have to look after yourself primarily. You've got to be fit, do your job in the team. Suddenly you're taking on the whole club and obviously the results and everybody's concerns.
I did go on the FA coaching courses. That was quite often frowned on, you know. Oh, yeah. Footballers aren't there, footballers, you know. Tony Waiters, who was our goalkeeper, he and I went on the FA coaching courses. We got the first licence and then we got the A licence. We used to go around at night time and form coaching associations in the area, and I thought it was a way forward. I always thought it was a way forward, rather than turning up and everybody expecting to play like Stan Matthews. A lot of the really great players have not come through coaching schemes, you know. You can name hundreds of them playing today. When you think about Maradona and Pelé and Messi to a point as well, there's not many footballers come through university life. It's not that type of thing. But I thought there's more to it than that. You know, I'd like to see the defence lined up a bit better. You know, think about what we're trying to do. And anyway, I carried it out at Bolton. I arranged for 2 pre-season friendlies. I got 2 of my friends to bring their teams to come. I got Dave Sexton to bring Chelsea. Jimmy Adamson brought Burnley. And we beat them both in a pre-season friendly. And I thought, I'm looking at these players who've been relegated to the 3rd division. They're a bit better than I thought. By November, we were about 5th off the bottom. We had a chairman called Jack Banks, who was a real sage. He said, what are you doing with this? I said, well, what I'm doing, I've got some good young players, and what I'm doing, I'm working on them Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons myself. I said, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. He said, well, I wasn't on that building site. That's what he said. He was a builder. He said, I wasn't on that building site. But he says, if they're any good, he said, have some damn guts in you. Put them in the team. Anything's better than that rubbish. Anyway, cut a long story short, I put them in, 3 of them in for one game, and we won 2-1. Lucky as hell, but we won. They started to play these kids, and they did all right. And then gradually we got them playing in a style, and the other 3rd division teams couldn't handle it. We won the match with 2.
And did you love the whole tactics, the week, being responsible for everything?
I did everything.
Did you love it all at that stage?
Well, I was under pressure, really. To say I loved it would be not wrong, but I enjoyed what I was doing. The first year, we moved from the bottom and we finished about 6th. And the second year, we won it with about 3 matches to spare. I had 1 or 2 people who came to me and asked me if I'd, interested in moving. And I wasn't really interested in moving. I was quite happy at Bolton. And then Everton came to see if I was interested in going. I went over to see John Moores. I went to his house and we had some lunch. And we never talked about football. He was talking about his paintings and all this sort of stuff. And then he says, do you fancy the job at Everton? So I said, I've only been at Bolton 2 years, really, 2 and a bit. Well, he said, I think you can do this job here. So I said, I'll think about it. I'll ring you tomorrow. I said, don't leave it longer than tomorrow. So I said, all right. So I went to him and rang him the next day. I said, I don't think I'm ready for that. He said, OK, put the phone down.
Was that the right decision?
Well, I left it for about another 3 or 4 months. And I got the team established in what's the championship now, the old 2nd division. And then out of the blue, Leeds came for me.
The appointment of Brian Clough on July the 22nd had not been the unanimous decision of the Leeds board. His dismissal 44 days later came at a time when the manager's greatest ally, Bob Roberts, was abroad.
Why is he going, Mr. Cousins? I mean, there is no answer to that question.
Because we've been spoilt by Don Revie.
The guy who takes my position, I hope that, he will find it a little bit smoother and everything will go well for him.